talking about the sleeves on a men's blazer and how they get altered. This is a regular sleeve where you're usually going to see it after it's been, made by the company that made it originally. It hasn't been altered yet. Usually what you'll have is a sleeve like this. It's folded under like this on both sides. So basically folded into the sleeve towards your wrist. And the lining comes up and it gets folded over and is sewn right about here. So what I was describing was being able to reach down in there and sort of feel that edge so that you can tell how much material there is to roll out and then alter it. Now, let's take a look here. This is what a sleeve that has been altered looks like if it's been let out to be longer. They basically undo the lining right here, roll the sleeve out, and they have to tuck it in just a little bit so they have something to work with. And you'll notice that now there's no more lining because you've let it out like an inch or two. So they literally take another piece of satin or polyester or whatever and put it in there. It's like a band basically, and they have to sew it to the regular lining and then fold that over, and you have to have at least a little bit of sleeve left in order to bend it in, tuck it in, and then sew it on either side, around the entire sleeve. And I'll show you what that looks like here. Hello folks, as a buyer on eBay, I'm buying a lot of vintage jackets which are sold online, and I'll ask the vendor sometimes, well, how much space is left on the sleeve in order to let it out in case I want to have it altered and actually make the sleeve longer. And I'm going to show you how to check for that. Pretty much every vendor that I talk to that isn't really aware of how tailoring works will go like this. Oh, well, there's about an inch. And that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, when they tailor a jacket and they make it in the first place, they literally take material and fold like this much in and then sew in the lining. So what you have to do is take your finger and your thumb and kind of feel up inside the jacket from here up to about right there. I can feel that the edge of the material, and as you can see, this is well past where the lining is, but I can feel up like this, feel, and then go, oh, right here it's a single thickness, and starting right here, it's a double thickness. I can feel the edge of the material, okay? So bear in mind that the lining only goes to here, but the material actually goes up to about here. Then you would just basically measure from here to here and let the client know how much material is in there to let out. You might want to warn them, hey, it's only got this much, and they have to be able to fold a little bit of it over in order to, and what they do, by the way, is they're going to run out of lining. They literally take more lining material, more satin, and sew it on there and add an extra band around on the inside, which is kind of hard to explain. I don't have a jacket that's been altered like that. But that's how you check. You basically squeeze and you go, oh, there's double layer, double layer, double layer, double, oh, there's a single layer. Okay, well, that must mean the material stops right here where the edge is. Okay, that's how you do it. So this is a jacket that I bought used on eBay. It's a vintage jacket you can't get anymore. And basically, the sleeves were probably about this long, okay? But the buttons had to be unsewed, and they were sewed back here, okay? And I had to feel in there and sort of feel where the tucked in material was, and I knew that there was enough room to work with. And they cut the lining and they let the sleeve out, and as you can see, they've lengthened it about an inch or so. This is where the original lining ran out, and this is where they had to add some lining in order to make it, meet the sleeve. And you can see here, she didn't really do a really super clean job. She actually just tucked the material under. So you can see she only had a ½ an inch around here to work. So if I feel in here, I can feel a little cliff right there where the material stops. So before I was able to reach all the way in there to right about here, and I could feel the material stop, right? But now the material stops right about here because this is where it is. So that's what they do when they lengthen sleeves. And if you see a jacket like this and it's been lengthened, you can always have it put back in. They'll remove this piece of satin here. But if you see a jacket like this that has this on it and it's not long enough for you sleeve-wise, don't buy it because you'll never be able to get enough material out of it in order to make it fit your arms properly. Now, another thing you have to watch out for if you are buying vintage jackets, from like thrift stores or on eBay or whatever, and you want to have the sleeves let out, if you look carefully, you can sort of see a little stain line that used to be around here, because this used to be the bottom of the sleeve, and the guy was dragging his arms and soup and all sorts of whatever he was doing, and just a buildup of stained material. There's a little bit of a line right there too. You can see it's slightly yellow. And I've actually worked this over pretty good with an enzyme cleaner, and this is as clean as I can get it. When you're far away, you don't even notice it, right? And it's also on the back side of the sleeve. But the point is, be prepared for that. You might be buying a lighter colored coat than this that has a fairly significant stain that you didn't really see that was right on the edge. And when you roll it out, you go, holy crap, look at that, it looks terrible. And you've just paid, you know, 40 bucks or 25 bucks, whatever your local tailor costs to have these sleeves done. So be cognizant of that potential problem, you know, that you might just have ring around the collar like the old commercial said, except in this case ring around the sleeve, where you basically got this, you know, stain that's from years of use all the way around the wool.